Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. This is Kazu here. Hope you guys liked the intro. Had a little bit of extra footage from all the recording I did today, but we're going to get straight into the video. Okay, so now we're going to go over a general overview of the new armor sets added in by Title Update 1.0, and then we're going to specifically discuss the unique armor skills associated with these sets, as well as how they fit into the new meta sets for Longsword. So we're going to start off with the Pride armor set. This is going to have the unique skill Guts, which is very similar to Dongo Moxie. And then we have the Golden Lune armor set. This is going to be from Gold Rathian, or Gold Rathian is what I like to call it. And this is going to have the unique skill Status Trigger as well as Defiance, both of which are pretty cool. Then we have the Silver Soul armor set from Silver Athelos. This is going to have the unique skill Element Exploit, which gives us additional elemental damage on weak zones. And then we have the Lucent Narga armor set, which has two unique skills, Sneak Attack and Adrenaline Rush, both of which are focused on bolstering your damage. So they're very cool, and we're going to go over that now. So first up is the Pride armor set from Seething Basilgeuse. Again, this has the Guts armor skill, which prevents feigning one time only when damage taken exceeds a certain amount of your remaining health. So it's the exact same as Moxie. If your health is above a vitality of 80, 72, or 64, depending on if your Guts rank is level 1, 2, or 3, then it will save you from getting one shot by the attack. This, again, has niche uses. It's a lot better on gunners who are very squishy and do usually end up getting one shot. You're pretty much never going to need this skill for Longsword, at least as far as Title Update 1 goes. If they add stronger monsters, if they add, like Apex emergency monsters that instant kill you, then Guts could honestly be a useful skill. However, right now, I just don't see using it on any armor sets. Okay, so next up is the Gold Rathian armor skills, Status Trigger and Defiance. Status Trigger allows you to perform a perfectly timed evade just as a monster attacks to trigger abnormal status buildup on hit. So as you can see here, we're going to roll through the Narga Roar. It's going to proc Status Trigger, and in turn, that's going to allow us to proc Sleep on every single hit of our Sleep Longsword that we get against the Narga for 5 seconds, 8 seconds, and 12 seconds depending on the level of your Status Trigger. This is going to be a very effective skill at proccing all of the status weapons, so that includes Blast, Poison, Paralysis, and Sleep. So the other armor skill added by the Gold Rathian armor set is going to be Defiance. Now basically this is 4 skills in one. It's going to be Earplugs, Windproof, as well as Tremor Resist and Defense Boost that activate all when the monster becomes enraged. So it has that specific requirement of the monster being enraged. However, you're getting a lot of utility out of a single ability, and this can also be crafted as a decoration. So it can be a 1-slot decoration, which is really easy to fit in. If you have level 3 of this skill, it will allow you to essentially ignore everything outside of like Elder Dragon, Wind Pressure, and Roars. So it's very useful and easy to fit in. So to showcase the Golden Lune armor, we're going to be using a Status Trigger Paralysis build. This is the exact same build I featured in my previous Longsword build from a week ago. But regardless, it's going to be using the Spirit Binder Blade, which is a Paralysis Longsword. And then we have the Golden Lune Helm and the Golden Lune Coil. And that's going to give us level 3 Status Trigger. So for those types of builds focused on Status Trigger, you're going to want at least the helmet and the coil. You could also use just the helmet if you're using it with something like a poison weapon or maybe a blast weapon and you don't need all 3 levels of Status Trigger. But for paralysis and sleep, I highly recommend you have the max value so that you can make the most out of the status buildup and get repeated paralysis procs or sleep procs over the course of a hunt. We also show our armor skills and build on screen. The talisman can be any 2-slot talisman. If you have a quick sheath 2 or 3 with 2-slot talisman, that's gonna pretty much allow you to build everything in this build. We do have some augmentations, but they're pretty suboptimal, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And then of course we have our Status Trigger level 3 in the build with Paralysis Attack level 3. If you're gonna use a sleep weapon, you would want Sleep Attack level 3, etc. But we're able to get most of the damage skills that we want while also having this huge boost to status that's going to give a big boost to our team if we're playing online by CCing the monster. or if we're playing solo, it's just going to give us big windows to do things like Sacred Sheath combo. Now, I do warn you, if you're going to have status trigger in your build, be careful about running max might. Make sure you're running Dongo Glutton or managing your stamina properly so that you're getting the most out of the affinity bonus for max might. So next up is the Silver Soul or Silverathalos armor set, which has the Elemental Exploit unique armor skill. This is going to increase the elemental damage when we're hitting weak zones of a monster. And what do I mean by weak zones? Well, anything that has a hit zone value of 20 or higher is going to be considered a weak zone for the purposes of Elemental Exploit, and it's going to increase our elemental damage by 10%, 12.5%, and 15% respectively for levels 1, 2, and 3. As you can tell, level 1 is going to give us the most benefit to our elemental damage because it's plus 10%, and the other two ranks only give an increase of 2.5% each. Looking at the armor skills for the Silver Soul Rathalos armor set, we can see that the chest piece, the gauntlets, and the waist all have one level of element exploit. For the purposes of longsword, we're going to be looking at the Silver Soul Mail. So this has a 4 slot, 3 slot, 1 slot with 1 level element exploit, 1 level of crit element, 3 levels of fire attack. It's super good. You can augment it and lose the fire attack for good augments. And then also, we just really can't make use of the constitution from the other two pieces. So that's why we're going to be using the mail. Honorable mention, though, is that the Silver Soul Greaves are also a great armor piece. If you're not running Dereliction, you're not going to use Armor Seros or Archfiend Armor Seros for your build. The 2 levels of Max Might and Crit Boost are great with the 2 slots from this armor. And the 1 level of Redirection you can either use for redirection builds or you can remove it for a better augment. Now I'm going to throw up the build I'm using on screen. This is going to be a sort of max damage elemental build using the Abyssbringer Blade, so it'll be a water element build, but you can change it out depending on the weapon. The talisman we're using is going to be a Quick Sheath level 3, Wirebug Whisperer level 2, 2 slot talisman. Pretty hard to get, but if you can get a Wirebug Whisperer or Quick Sheath level 3 talisman with 2 slots, that will be just as sufficient. You're going to lose a couple levels of attack boost, but other than that, it's going to be the same. We're combining the 1 level of element exploit alongside maxed elemental attack as well as crit element to get the most out of our weapon's elemental attack. So you can see we totally annihilated a Tobi Kadachi here. And then if we look at our damage values, this was using the EI, Spirit Helmbreaker, Harvest Moon playstyle. We did 13,000 physical damage and 3,700 elemental damage. So about 30% of our damage done was element, which is significantly boosted by all of these element skills synergizing together. So the Silver Soul Mail is going to be excellent for these kinds of sets. Okay, so last up is going to be the Lucent Narga armor set. This is going to have 2 unique skills, the first of which is going to be Sneak Attack. So that increases damage to large monsters from behind. So you have to be positioned behind the monster to get the damage bonus. And you get 5%, 10%, and 20% increased attack when attacking from behind. There is a typo in the description of this ability where the rank 3 skill says 12.5% instead of 20%. Again, that has been confirmed to be a typo, and it is a huge boost of 20%. Adrenaline Rush is the other unique armor skill, and this is going to give us a attack boost temporarily when we perform a perfect evade, similar to Status Trigger. And the attack boost is going to be plus 10 attack for 30 seconds at rank 1, and then plus 15 attack at rank 2, and plus 30 attack at rank 3. So we're getting a significant bonus to attack at rank 3. Okay, so looking at the armor skills for the Lucent Narga set, we get Sneak Attack from the chest, the waist, and the greaves, and we're going to get Adrenaline maxed out from the gauntlets and the greaves. Unfortunately, Sneak Attack is a little too niche to fit in. You're going to give up a lot of slots just to get this skill, and Longsword primarily fights facing the target's front and hitting the head, so it's going to be suboptimal to run this skill. Adrenaline Rush, on the other hand, does synergize with our kit somewhat, and we can run both the Wrist Raise and the Gators. The Wrist Raise are going to have 2 slots, so they can actually fit in a lot of skills quite nicely, and you're not going to have to give up as much as you would for Sneak Attack. Okay, and now we can see the build we're using on screen. This is going to be using the Mergrez's Asterism alongside the Archfiend Armor and Wrathful's Coil. We're going to have maxed out Adrenaline Rush, but we're also going to have all the offensive skills we could want, including Attack Boost level 7 and maxed out Affinity on our Sacred Sheath combo for crit draw. This is using, again, a Quick Sheath level 3 Wildboar Whisper level 2 2 slot talisman. You can supplement this with just a Quick Sheath level 3 2 slot talisman, and then giving up a couple skills here and there, or hopefully getting good augments to compensate for that. Now, using Adrenaline Rush, we can actually proc it with both the standard dodge evade as well as the bunny hop from Sacred Sheath. So once you've readied your Sacred Sheath and you're ready to unleash the Spirit Release Slash, you can just backwards hop through a roar or through an attack, and then proc Adrenaline Rush and get the damage bonus on it for pretty consistent DPS. And that's going to be it for our meta-analysis of the new armor sets from Title Update 1.0. I know it wasn't quite a super, number crunching, data looking at analysis for the purposes of this video. We really were just kind of going over some of the new sets that you can use with these armor sets and armor pieces. I think you can definitively say that Element Exploit and Status Trigger benefit elemental builds as well as status builds a lot more than what was possible in previous Sunbreak before Title Update 1.0. And Adrenaline Rush actually can be mixed into sets to potentially get more attack out of the armor set than previous. So if you just run the gauntlets, you get plus 15 attack, and if you can upkeep that perfect evade buff, that's actually going to be worth more than the 2 extra points of dereliction that you get, which only give you plus 10 attack. So, stuff like that, you actually can be using these new armor pieces to optimize builds and get a little bit more damage than previous. And overall, I really do like these armor pieces. I'm using quite a few of the armor pieces here and there for various sets, as you've seen. And for Longsword, we're getting a pretty decent benefit out of it, I think. Weapons like the bow might be getting more so benefits out of it because they can synergize with more things, especially Adrenaline Rush. And then like gunlets can take advantage of sneak attack. So there's, pros and cons here and there. But overall, hope you guys found the video informational. If you did, give a like, comment, subscribe. It does help out the channel. And we're going to be doing the element damage builds pretty soon. As long as, I gotta get around to it. Haven't had the time quite yet to look into the elemental damage builds. And mainly that's because I want to test out all of the weapons. I've been making and augmenting a lot of longswords, and I gotta tell you, it's using a lot of materials. So yeah, look forward to that. It's going to be coming soon, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.